Hi, I'm Mary. When we go to Disney, of course we think about the delicious foods that we're going to try. But what if I told you that a lot of those really great foods are also packed with sodium and that there are healthier alternatives? Well, let's talk about some of those. Let's talk about the five, what I call Disney villains of the theme park, which are the highest sodium foods you can eat. And we're going to start with something relatively benign, a little bit of a villain, and that would be the Disney ice cream sandwich, the Mickey shaped ice cream sandwich. Very yummy and coming in at 200 milligrams of sodium, which isn't too terrible when you consider that most adults can safely eat up to 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. But if you're living with heart disease, kidney disease, or high blood pressure, or you're just getting a little older, you may want to cut that down to 1,500 milligrams a day, and that's when a 200 milligram sodium snack starts to seem a little evil. Well, there's an alternative. You can have a Mickey ice cream bar for just 50 milligrams of sodium, and it's shaped just like Mickey, like a sandwich, and it's delicious. And it's a good swap that saves you 150 milligrams of sodium. Let's go to the next Disney villain on our list. That would be the delicious Mickey cinnamon roll. Now hold on to your hats because this one does not have 200 milligrams of sodium. That Mickey cinnamon roll has 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot. If you split that roll with 4 people, then you've got about 250 a piece. Maybe that's an okay alternative, but here's another idea. You could go to Port Orleans, French Quarter that is, and get an order of 3 beignets. Now those beignets will come in at about 80 milligrams of sodium apiece if you split them. If you eat all 3, you're at 240, which isn't terrible for a snack. It's more along the lines of what we were talking about with our Mickey ice cream sandwich. But it's a lot less than 1,000 milligrams of sodium. So consider the beignets as a healthier alternative for a sweet snack. Our next Disney villain is Disney's chicken tenders, and they come in all flavors and varieties, and they're very popular in the parks. But unfortunately, those chicken tenders are 1,400 milligrams of sodium before you put on any sauce like cheese or ranch or ketchup or anything like that. And of course, it adds a lot more sodium. In fact, one of those little cups of cheese sauce, cheddar cheese sauce, that's 500 milligrams of sodium just in that little cup. So the chicken tenders, for me at least, at 1,400 milligrams of sodium are a hard pass. But you could have instead, if you're at Magic Kingdom, you could go to the Plaza restaurant and have a chicken Waldorf salad and ask them to hold the blue cheese, put that on the side, and ask them to hold the dressing, put that on the side. And you can dip your fork in the dressing and sprinkle on a little bit of the blue cheese, not all of it. Cheese has got a lot of sodium. And you'd be having a refreshing, cold chicken meal that would probably be a little more filling than the chicken tenders. Definitely better for you and much, much less sodium. Let's go to another big favorite at the parks, and I'm talking about, of course, the cheeseburger spring rolls. Now these things are not very big. They're a couple of mouthfuls, and I've heard they're delicious, but they're also 1,800 milligrams of sodium. That's a lot for a cheesy snack that's really not going to fill you up that much. If you're looking for a cheesy snack, what I would suggest is to bring some vegetables, low salt Triscuits or wheat thins, and some cheese with you to the park. Ideally mozzarella or Swiss cheese, because those are the lowest sodium ones. But you could also have a little Baby Bell cheese, and I believe they do sell those at some of the carts in the park. And that way you're getting your cheese fix, but you're not getting 1,800 milligrams of sodium. And I'm not going to even talk about the calories and fat. I have no idea in those cheeseburger rolls. They sound like a fun splurge, but it's maybe more of a shareable snack if you don't want to get too much sodium. And what about if you don't have heart disease, or you don't have high blood pressure, or another problem that involves eating a low sodium diet? You still might want to cut back on sodium for a very good reason, and that is Disney rash. Sodium causes, too much sodium at least, can cause fluid retention in your feet and legs, and that can contribute to Disney rash. It doesn't happen to everybody, but if it's something that you have had a challenge with before in the past, you may want to go light on sodium when you're at the parks. Let's see what we have next. This is a big one. Fish and chips. Fish and chips, delicious, right? Rose and Crown. They may have them at other places. My guesstimate for the sodium content of fish and chips is about 1,800 calories, just like the cheeseburger rolls. You're getting a more substantial meal at least, maybe even a shareable meal. So there's that. But at 1,800 calories, that's way over my limit for a sodium meal, and for others, it's getting pretty darn close. I'd say if you're going to have a meal as fish and chips and you're being pretty good for the rest of the day, that's okay. But if you're looking for something that's maybe less sodium, then you could go to Columbia Harbor House and order the salmon or the shrimp and ask for it to be prepared without sauces or extra salt. Now it's going to have some salt because fish and shrimp are typically brined and frozen, and that usually adds a lot of salt to them. So unless you've got like a real fresh fish, you're usually looking at some salt, but it's going to be less. Same with the rice and the green beans that they sell. They're usually cooked with salt, but you can ask that they be prepared without salt. The last thing on my list today, although definitely not the worst offender, are, I hate to say this because I know a lot of you love them, but have you ever eaten at Ohana? So if you have, you know the food's kind of salty, right? Well, those Ohana noodles, in my guesstimate, is about 2,000 milligrams. So that's almost your entire daily allowance. It's really hard to justify. I know they're delicious, but like a lot of Asian foods, inspired foods, Ohana noodles are just really, really salty. If you're at the Polynesian and you want to get a tiki-themed kind of treat, then maybe go get a pineapple Dole Whip instead. Pineapple Dole Whip comes in at about 110 calories max, and it only has 50 milligrams of sodium, making it one of my favorite treats at Disney World. So I would pass on the Ohana noodles, or try and make a version of them at home that doesn't have quite as much salt, and go for pineapple Dole Whip instead. Now there are two more, believe it or not, two more foods at Disney that have even more than 2,000 milligrams of sodium, and those are on the blog, along with my free planning tips that you can download and print for how to have less salt in your diet at Disney World, and also an estimate of the sodium contents for a lot of popular Disney foods. It's free to download. You do not have to put in your email address or anything like, or subscribe or anything like that. You'll just follow the link and you'll get it right away. But just know that these are guesstimates. Disney does not publish their nutritional information, so I was able to kind of guess what the sodium contents were by looking at other businesses that do publish and are transparent about the nutritional information in the foods they sell. I hope that this is helpful to you. I think it's fine to go on vacation and splurge every once in a while, but especially if you're going to be there for several days, consider some less salty alternatives. I think you'll feel better, and especially if you're on a sodium restricted diet, you'll really want to see these planner pages for yourself. Take care and have a wonderful and healthy day.